This one I wasn't too sure about putting up, but I'm going to do it anyway because someone needs help. This is what I'm here to do. So let's get into it. So good evening, Keeez. I'm a Christian woman in my late 20s and I've been with my boyfriend for almost 5 years. When we met, neither of us were particularly religious. We both believed in God, but faith wasn't a huge part of our relationship. Over the last couple of years, my relationship with God has grown a lot. I've become more involved in church, I pray regularly, and my faith is now one of the most important parts of my life. The problem is that my boyfriend has been on his own journey too. Recently, he told me that he's been learning more about Islam and feels like it's the path he wants to follow. At first, I didn't think it was a big issue, but the more we talk about it, the more worried I become. We've always spoken about getting married and having children one day, and now I'm starting to wonder what that would actually look like. How would we raise our children? Which faith would we teach them? What happens if our beliefs continue to move further apart? I love him deeply, and he's genuinely a good man. He treats me well, supports me, and we've built a life together over the last 5 years. But I'm scared that we're heading in different directions and that love might not be enough. Am I focusing too much on religion, or is this something that could become a serious problem later on? What would your advice be? I don't even think this is one of those situations where it's like a stay or leave situation. Um, this isn't someone that you've just known for like the past couple months. Like this is a 5 year relationship. There's routines, there's memories, there's plans that you probably had. So it's an interesting one. And I don't think the problem is that he's interested in Islam. I think the problem is that you're probably starting to go down different routes. This actually was a situation that, not this specific situation, but going in different routes and having different ideas about what you want from life. This is a situation that I had to go through in my previous relationship. Yeah, the real issue is that you both have essentially different beliefs. You're both going down different routes in your beliefs. It's because if one of you is continuing down the Christian route and the other one is continuing down the Islam route, eventually you will continue to break off and kind of go in different directions. He might eventually say, do you know what? I don't think I want a woman that is Christian. He might try to convert you to Islam. Are you going to be happy with that? And I think like this is what will happen subconsciously. You'll be trying to like, if for example you're praying, for example like he's praying, are you both going to pray in the same like room? This is a very, very, very tough situation. Now then you talk about, for example, okay, let's say you were to get married, what would your wedding look like? Your kids, what faith would you teach your kids? If he says he wants his children to learn to be Muslim, you want your kids to be Christian. How does that look? In terms of worship, do you go to church on a Sunday? Do you go to the mosque? Do you go to both? I don't know if that's something that you should do. And then for the future, would you be sitting there hoping that he changes his views on Christianity? And would he be hoping the same thing for you with Islam? I think there's just way too many things to unpack here. And this is why probably your faith is very important maybe at the start of your relationship. If you don't have a relationship with God at the start of your relationship, how do you know what you're even working towards? How are you working towards a marriage with no faith? And now that you guys have both found faith in the relationship, it's a different faith to what you would both want. Do you know what I'm saying? It's a very confusing one. Now, from a Christian perspective, as I am a Christian man, from a Christian perspective, faith isn't supposed to be a small part of your life. It's meant to influence how you live. It's meant to influence the decisions that you make, how you raise a family, for example, how you believe and how you walk in the world. That's what your faith is meant to do. And from my experience, it's best to walk that faith with somebody that also walks and has the same religious beliefs that you do. These are just what I believe. Now that doesn't mean that, the other person is bad. I don't think anyone's bad. I don't think anyone following other religions are bad. Do you know what I mean? It's just, what religion do you follow? Do you follow Christianity? Do you follow Islam? You have to then, that has to transcend down, bro. That has to transcend into your next generation. Now, your son might grow up one day, turn 20, and decide that he wants to choose to follow Islam. How I would see it from your point of view is, you're a Christian woman. How do you see your future going? Would you see your future going with a Christian man? And it's the same questions kind of for him. What does Islam mean to him? How serious is he about it? Does he want his family, his whole family, not just wife? Does he want his whole family, his children, to also follow Islam? My advice, obviously, I don't think you should break up tomorrow. For example, I think this should be a conversation that is definitely had. If the route is going down that he wants to still, he is adamant that, yeah, he is a Muslim man. And I'm sorry if I'm getting the words wrong. I don't really know how to say certain things in terms of other religions. But if he decides that, no, I'm a Muslim man and there is nothing else to it, and you decide that you are a Christian woman and there's nothing else to it, I think that there should be a separation. I just don't see how it then gets better from there. If neither of you are trying to go down that other person's path, I don't think you can have correct me if I'm wrong. Do you know what I mean? I don't think you can have a 2-religion household. There's going to be a lot of contradictions. There's going to be a lot of different teachings and different arguments that one is going to have. Do you know what I'm saying? And this is probably a topic that isn't spoken about enough, to be honest with you. I feel like the super Christians out there will be telling me, oh no, it's wrong. But you got to understand, I've got Muslim friends. I've got Muslim family. Like, I can't sit here and tell them that their way of thinking is wrong. As much as and I'm not trying to offend anyone, but as much as a super Christian would tell me that, yeah, every other belief is wrong and where I'm not here to disrespect how anyone thinks, what anyone believes. Do you know what I mean? I've got, my brethren are Keeez. Do you know what I'm saying? I've got Christian friends as well. Like, when it comes to Ramadan, I'm saying, yeah, Eid Mubarak and that, because those are my people at the end of the day, and I respect their beliefs as well. However, would I choose to spend the rest of my life with a Muslim woman? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't do that. So yeah, interesting one. For me, what would I do? I would only date a Christian woman. Maybe I would date somebody that isn't religious as well, but I don't think I would date a Muslim woman, just due to the fact that, where is it going? Where are we going with this? Because if it's not leading to marriage, if it's not leading to, then what are we doing here? What are we doing here? We're just wasting both of our times. That's how I would see it. So I personally wouldn't date a Muslim woman. And if I was in the situation that you were in, I think I would probably, it's easy to say now because I'm not in the position, but you would have to, I would choose God. I would choose God over anybody else, personally. And that's just what I would do. It's very difficult to erase 5 years, but yeah, I would say, as a Christian man, I would choose my faith. I would choose God, as he chose me. So, very difficult one. I would still like to continue the conversation with you, actually, behind closed doors, just to see how it's going. Because I would actually like to see how this can sort of end. Do you know what I mean? Love isn't tested when everything's going well. Do you know what I'm saying? Let's see how much he loves you, and let's see how much you love him. If you love him it's going to sound mad, but if you love him more than you love the Lord, then you will follow him in his journey with Islam. And if he loves you more than he loves um, the God he worships, then that says it all. But if you both love your respective gods more than you love the other person, then you should always choose your faith. That's what I would say. So, viewers, could you actually marry someone that has a different faith to you? Or is it a deal breaker? Let me know in the comments. This is an interesting one. And yeah, continue to send in your dilemmas. I'll catch you in the next one.